Shanks reveals the mark of the Holy Knights that he received from Imu Sama. For a long time, there has always been doubt about why Shanks allowed the Sea King to tear off his arm, something many considered a plot hole. However, the true reason behind this has finally come to light. Now we know a little more about Shanks' secret past.
What do they want? We're not carrying any treasure with us! All we have is a devil fruit. Do they want stupid rubber powers that bad?
Shanks has always been one of the greatest enigmas in One Piece. He first appeared back in the very first chapter, calmly drinking in a tavern in Fuchsia Village, and since then has only left small clues about who he really is and what his intentions might be. This lack of information created two different views about him. Some see him as a benevolent mentor, Luffy's idol, while others raise the possibility that he could be an antagonist, manipulating Luffy and those around him. The curious thing is that both interpretations seem plausible, since Shanks would sometimes give a mysterious look or make moves that left a lingering sense of doubt. However, everything changed once we discovered that Shanks has a twin brother, Shamrock Figureland, who is allied with the government. This revelation clarified that it wasn't Shanks who actually visited the Gorosei, but rather his brother.
I need to speak to you about a certain pirate.
Oda created this confusion on purpose, both to make us question the red-haired pirate and also to reinforce that the real Shanks has always acted in favor of freedom and that his kindness is genuine. Luffy, in fact, never doubted Shanks' integrity. In Elbaf, when the giants claimed they had been attacked by the red-haired man, he became furious and shouted, making it clear that it must have been someone else. Indeed, the one who attacked them was his twin brother, Shamrock. Luffy also got upset with Gaban, who called Shanks petty, and even with his own crewmates when they believed the giant's story that the attack had been committed by the red-haired pirate. This unshakable faith that Luffy has in Shanks goes back to his childhood. 13 years earlier, Shanks' crew intercepted a CP-9 ship that was transporting the Gomu Gomu no Mi, a move that was, in fact, carefully planned. Shanks had discovered that the rubber fruit was not merely the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but actually the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, connected to the legendary Sun God, who, according to ancient tales, returns to bring an end to ages of oppression and usher in a new dawn for the world. With the fruit in his possession, he sailed to Dawn Island, where he met the young Monkey D. Luffy. The boy was instantly captivated by the crew and asked to join their ship, but was refused for being too young. Even so, Luffy stuck close to the group. He laughed at Yasopp's stories, imitated Ben Beckman's poses, and got into trouble at Makino's bar. Until one day, Higuma, the mountain bandit, stormed into the bar, smashed bottles over Shanks' head, and walked out, believing the captain to be a coward since the pirate didn't even fight back. Instead of getting angry, Shanks laughed it off along with his crew, not giving much importance to the attack. This infuriated Luffy. Acting out of frustration, he ended up swallowing the fruit Shanks had kept stored in his chest. When Luffy tried to leave the bar, Shanks grabbed his arm and noticed it stretching. That moment changed the boy's destiny forever. Days later, Higuma returned, kidnapped Luffy, and threw him into the sea. Shanks appeared at the last moment, dived in, and put himself in front of the Sea King when it lunged at the boy. Using his Conqueror's Haki, Shanks managed to stop the beast's attack. He made the monster retreat, but not before losing his left arm. Luffy cried at the sight, but Shanks reassured him, saying it was just an arm.
But Shanks, your arm is gone and it's all my fault! Your arm!
For years, that scene raised a question. How could a future Yonko, wielder of such powerful Conqueror's Haki, lose an arm to a creature from the East Blue? We've seen Shanks defeat Eustace Kid and Killer with a single strike. We've also seen him intimidate an admiral just by releasing his Haki from miles away. Without a doubt, he could have stopped the Sea King's attack with his armament Haki. We know he has future sight, able to foresee movements minutes ahead, and he certainly would have predicted the attack and dodged it. From a logical standpoint then, it seems strange that Shanks lost his arm, and there are countless ways Shanks could have avoided losing his arm, considering his overwhelming strength. Logically, it should should never have happened, unless of course he allowed it to happen on purpose. The explanation that makes the most sense. Shanks had taken for himself the fruit of Nika, the legendary fruit of prophecy that would bring back the Sun God to the world. With Luffy eating it, the boy became the chosen one. Therefore, Shanks needed to inspire Luffy in some way to follow his destiny of bringing dawn to the world. That's why he sacrificed his arm, to show the young boy that the pirate life he so deeply longed for is full of dangers and challenges, and that if he wasn't strong enough, his crewmates would suffer, just as Shanks suffered by losing an arm because of Luffy's weakness. The boy couldn't swim and ended up being captured. He wanted to teach him that now the fate of the world rests in his hands. Luffy would need to face that responsibility with courage, without faltering, so that no one would suffer because of his fragility.
No big deal. It's just an arm, Luffy. I'm glad you're okay.
And indeed, there is a noble reason behind it. Shanks gave up an arm for the future of the world, for the new generation. That's why he calms Luffy by saying it's just an arm, because what the boy needed to see was far greater than it seemed. Luffy's lesson and the path he needed to follow were far more important than a single arm. But what if there was something more behind it? What if Shanks, beyond teaching a valuable lesson, also wanted to rid himself of a curse? A curse that had permanently marked his arm, and that is exactly what is revealed. In chapter 1140, we discover through the Holy Knight Saint Kuringan that members of the World Government's High Council bear a special mark. This mark allows them to move through the abyss, interconnected by magical circles. These are the same circles the Holy Knights used to reach Elbaf, and also the ones the Gorosei used when they were summoned to Egghead. We also know that the Elder's powers come directly from Imu Sama. For example, even when the Gorosei were struck by Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki, the only one who truly felt pain was Imu inside the castle of Mary Joas. Or when he stripped Saturn of his powers, removing his immortality and reducing him to nothing but a pile of bones. Therefore, if the Gorosei bear the mark, since they can move through the abyss and have powers granted by Imu, then this mark is given directly by Imu Sama, reserved for his most powerful soldiers, such as the Gorosei and the Holy Knights. Moreover, when the Holy Knight Saint Summers appeared only in pajamas, having been summoned suddenly and without warning, it was possible to notice on his left arm a peculiar mark running from his forearm up to near his shoulder. This is most likely the mark bestowed by Imu, known as the Mark of Darkness. And the way this connects with Shanks and his lost arm is fascinating. In chapter 1138, Shamrock Figureland makes a comment about Shanks, revealing that they are twin brothers. Upon discovering his origin, a descendant of the Celestial Dragons and of a family of Holy Knights, Shanks decided to visit the Holy Land to meet his family. However, he didn't remain there, choosing instead to return to the surface and live as a pirate. Even so, the very fact that Shanks went to the Holy Land shows that he did consider living in that environment, but quickly realized it wasn't where he belonged. It is very likely that during this period, he trained to become a Holy Knight. After all, his father was at the time the Supreme Commander of the Holy Knights, and would no doubt have taken the opportunity to train a son with such potential. By then, Shanks had already sailed around the world alongside Roger. He had been trained by the Pirate King himself and by his two most loyal men, Rayleigh and Gabin. In addition, Buggy revealed that Shanks was a genius, with such immense talent that it even made him give up on his own dreams. Recognizing his son's potential, Garling decided to train him so that he too could become a Holy Knight, just as he had done with Shamrock. It was precisely during this period that Shanks received the mark, for to become a Holy Knight, it is necessary to be marked and gain the ability to cross the abyss. This mark is bestowed by Imu Sama, the shadowy sovereign of the world, and confirms that Shanks, like the other Holy Knights, knows of his existence. I believe the mark can be placed on any part of the body, but the first character we see in the story with it is the Knight Summers, whose mark appears on his left arm, possibly a reference to Shanks's left arm, where he too received the mark.
Now I can ask you face to face, what enemy did you give that left arm to?
Let's just say I made a bet on a new era.
In the first panels where Shanks appears, before losing his arm, he wears a long-sleeve shirt rolled up to his forearm, hiding the mark. When he left Mary Joyzy, Shanks decided he needed to find the legendary Nika fruit. Upon realizing that Luffy had eaten it, he understood that his mark no longer made sense. He then had to choose whether to serve the light or the darkness. Thus, besides serving as an example for Luffy, Shanks sacrificed his arm when he decided who would be the new hope, the Sun God. In doing so, he cut off his ties with the mark, his family, and the world government. Shanks then became Nika's new guide, influencing her to follow her path and claim the greatest treasure of all, the legendary One Piece, to finally bring dawn to the world. This is the part of Shanks' story that Oda kept hidden from us for so long. He received the mark from Imu, but perhaps that was only a strategic move to carry out his mission. We know that Roger left specific tasks for each remaining member of his crew. Although this was never directly confirmed, each seemed to have a defined role. Crocus at the entrance to the Grand Line, Rayleigh at the arrival to the New World, Gaban and Elbaf participating in the origin of the Nika legend, and Shanks with the mission to steal the legendary fruit of the Sun God. When Shanks went after the fruit, he discovered it was in the possession of the world government and its location was secret, guarded by CP9, a secret division of Cypher Paul. To find out where the fruit was, Shanks needed to infiltrate. Using his lineage, he went to Mary Joyzy, pretended to have switched sides, and received the mark to prove his apparent loyalty. As soon as he discovered the fruit's location, he returned to the surface and, together with his crew, stole the Nika fruit, celebrating when he realized he had finally found what he was looking for. With the mark now useless, Shanks sacrificed his arm, a small price for the future of the world and for the rise of the new Nika. That's why he tells Luffy it's just an arm. Since then, Shanks has acted as a guardian, guiding Luffy from afar until the time comes to claim the One Piece. It's fascinating to realize that the mark did indeed exist on his arm, and that he lost it precisely because of that. It was never a plot hole. Shanks lost his arm on purpose, fully aware of what he was doing, as part of a larger plan. The secret history of Shanks that Oda kept hidden from us for so long. Well, we've reached the end of the video. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment to help with engagement. Cheers, and see you next time.
Before there was anything, there was nothing. And before there was nothing, these ancients are just the beginning. I will command a great and terrible army. We will sail until every light has been extinguished. And we will sail to a billion worlds.